Welcome to the Better Not Podcast.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Will.
On today's episode, we're talking about deer. We're talking about the Dust Bowl and the Weed Whipper.
Let's do it.
Let's do it!
This is the Better Not Podcast. On this podcast, it's two coworkers who bet beers on topics you can easily Google the answer for.
So I know I just got here and I dropped on you that I wanted to record this episode right away because it's on my mind.
Okay.
So I'm just going to start spilling it out.
Spill it.
I had a crazy night last night.
This is already crazy. Like, I'm really interested to see what you're about to talk about.
I know when I walked in, you were like, well, tell me what happened. I'm like, no, you got to press record and then we'll go. So yeah, I'm sitting at home last night watching a rousing episode of Jersey Shore.
Okay.
And I hear this rustling and I'm like, what is that?
Okay. And this is in your new house.
This is my new house. I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like, what is that? And then I hear this like boom, like, and I was like, it sounded like something hit the house.
Yeah.
But then it kept going.
Okay.
And I'm like stood up and I'm thinking, is there an earthquake? What's going on? But nothing's shaking.
Uh-huh.
And I just keep hearing this like hitting noises, you know, like, I don't know, you know, yeah.
Yeah. I'll do some sound effects right here.
Yeah. And so my first instinct is, crap, I got to get my gun. So I ran and I grabbed my gun.
Okay.
And Bryn, we have a security system at our house, a little camera. And so she's on there and she's like, oh, there's a police dog out front.
A police dog out front.
So immediately I put the gun back and I go running outside and this lady is screaming bloody murder. And she's like, you effing da da da.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what in the world is going on? And
a cop lives right next to you too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he doesn't have a dog.
Okay.
So that I know of. Anyway, so I go out there and this guy is like pacing back and forth, like cussing. And I'm like, what is going on? And this lady's just like has her hands over her face and she's just like she's cussing.
Yeah.
And I look over and a deer was stuck in the gate next to my house. Like, not its head stuck, but like its torso went through the gate and its hips. It was stuck between its torso, between its rib cage and its hips.
Like it was trying to jump through the gate?
It tried to run through it. And
What?
their hips must or their rib cages must like really shrink down or something.
Yeah.
Because some way it was just stuck in between there.
Yeah.
So what happened was, okay, so backing up, this guy that's out there, he's just like pacing back and forth. He's got a massive cigar in his mouth. And I'm just like, what in the world is going on? He's like, F this, what the F am I going to do?
Yeah.
And what happened was a guy was walking a German Shepherd on the trail above our house.
Okay.
And it ran after a deer, came through the neighborhood, and then it was chasing it around on my porch. And the lady was outside with her husband because he was smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
And they were just hanging out on their front porch. And they saw the dog chasing the deer, went over there. She's yelling at the dog to go away. The deer runs into the fence and just gets stuck.
Oh my gosh.
So the guy's like, he's like looking at me. He's like, do you have an effing pry bar? I'm just like, yeah, I do have a pry bar. So I go into the house and
this is the guy with the cigar.
The cigar.
Yeah.
And, we work in a high like stress environment.
Yeah.
So I'm like pretty chill. And this guy's just like losing his stuff. And so I go in, I get the pry bar, open up the garage, come out. We like try to pry this, one of the bars off of the gate.
Oh my gosh.
And we couldn't get it off.
Yeah.
And so then he's like, oh, do you have a grinder? And I was like, yeah, I got a grinder. And then I like go and get my grinder. I'm like, this is not a good idea. This is going to put sparks all over this thing. And so I tell the guy, let me get a jack and we'll try to jack the two railings apart push them, wide enough that the deer can slip out. So I go get my jack and my jack, it's a, what do they call the oil where
hydraulic jack. Yeah.
It must have broke a while back. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't hold any pressure whatsoever. So I've got a jack inside my Jeep in the engine. And so I pull that out and we get it pulled back a little bit, and it still wasn't wide enough for that deer to get its hips out.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I've got a Sawzall. So he goes and gets the Sawzall, and this is what made me think this needs to be on the episode. Aside from this being just this crazy, stressful story.
All of that wasn't what you wanted to talk about.
Well, it led up to this.
Okay.
Because we've had this conversation multiple times about how what's better, gas or electric.
Yeah, we have had that conversation. Yeah.
And you were trying to convince me that I needed to get a gas mower and a gas chainsaw, or sorry, electric.
Yeah, I was saying like, electric technology these days is pretty good. So
right. So here's where I'm getting to. So he gets a Sawzall. He starts cutting into the metal gate, and he gets about halfway through it, and the battery runs out. And I was just like, this is exactly why I told Will 100 times that gas is better.
But he could have ran out of gas too.
He could have, but so all my tools that I get that are electric, I buy them not cordless. I buy them with the cord.
Yeah.
And so I had my Sawzall, but I was just like, no, I'm not going to do that. So anyway, he got through it enough that I was able to get the jack and just twist it, and it bent the bar far enough for the deer to get out.
Yeah.
But that whole time I was thinking, I got to tell Will this, because this is exactly why I don't like things that are in batteries, because you go to use them and it's always dead.
Yeah. Wow. That is a perfect use case scenario.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So then the deer gets out.
Yeah.
The story gets even crazier. Okay. The deer gets out. Its legs all messed up. Oh, I don't know. But it was able to hop away, but it kept falling.
It did go away, though.
Yeah, it did go away. It had a bloody nose. I think it was just. So anyway, we pulled up the video. Later on, and the dog never got the deer. Okay. I think the deer had just like hit its nose on that gate when it was trying to go through the gate, and it just got a bloody nose. But so the dog takes off a long time ago while we're trying to work on getting this deer out. The guy, he's like about in tears. He just like could not handle this situation.
Oh my gosh.
And so he's like walking away, and he's like, his eyes are all red. I'm pretty sure he was crying. And he gets like close to his house, and the lady's like standing there talking to us, and she sees a guy up on the trail. Yeah. And she goes, "Hey, is that your dog?" And he goes, "Oh, I just found a dog. Yeah, I found a dog." And she goes, "Is that your dog?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's my dog." And she starts cussing him out. And he just starts cussing her out. Well, not cussing her out. He just starts yelling, like giving it back to her.
Yeah.
And he's like, "That's the thing about people like you. You're just trash."
Oh my gosh.
I was just like, oh my gosh, what is happening right now? First off, we live right here. Yeah. You're cussing this guy out. He's probably going to come back to the house and retaliate.
Yeah.
And so then he won't leave. He's just like yelling. It was literally for a couple minutes. I go inside, and I'm just like, I don't know if I should like call the police right now, or like, this is just not ending.
Oh my gosh.
And finally my wife goes back out, and she's like, "Will you please just leave?" to both of them. Yeah. And the lady left, he left. It was crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So the lady lives in your neighborhood. Where does the guy live? Is he just walking
He was
around?
just on the trail.
Okay.
Yeah, and he had his dog off the leash. It saw a deer, took after the deer, and
Oh my gosh. That's a rough night.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's weird to be like right there on the golf course. Like because people are just walking back there.
Yeah, and then I had the guy that runs the HOA come to my house at like 9:00 last night, and he's like, "I just want to know what happened, because you guys cut the gate, and we got to figure out how to fix this gate now."
Oh my gosh.
So
they're not going to penalize you for that.
No,
right?
no. He was saying that they'll take care of it and everything.
Oh my gosh.
He understood. He's like, "Yeah, I mean, if it's stuck there, it's just going to die. Like, you got to do something, you know?"
Jeez.
Yeah. And then our friend works for like the animal control and stuff, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't even take care of stuff like that." So
what?
Yeah,
they don't take care of it.
No.
What does animal control even do?
They
just
rescue
like rabid animals.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my
crazy.
gosh! Well, you could have had a ton of meat if you got the deer.
Right. Well, that's what I was thinking later. I was like, man, if those people would have just like not seen the deer and the deer got stuck there, like I probably could have taken care of it by myself and it wouldn't have been an issue.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that's wow.
Yeah.
That's a story right there.
It was, yeah.
So it goes back to our heated debate at work. Gas versus electricity.
And I know we had a gas episode, but we focused on natural gas.
And we didn't focus on tools either.
Right. Yeah.
So this is the debate of electric. Well, there's kind of three things here though. There's batteries.
Right.
There's power, and then there's gas.
Yeah. And the other thing that I was thinking of was when I was thinking of this cordless versus not, they always have that on the TV, cut the cord. Is that that's for cable?
That's
though,
for
right?
like cutting the cable cord to go to like Netflix and all that stuff.
Yeah. I was thinking about that when I was driving over here. I was like, is that for cable or is that just like in general cut the cord on everything?
Oh no, it's like cutting the cord to go to something else.
Okay.
Yeah, like Netflix and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, what's our bet then on that? We need to come up with a bet. We haven't. You just brought the story, so we don't even have a bet on this.
Yeah. The only thing that I could think of is what's faster, a German Shepherd or a deer, but I already know the answer to that now.
Yeah.
So maybe I should have led off with that.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, maybe we shouldn't even have a bet. We should just talk about power tools.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, the other thing that I was thinking of, with why I do not want all these battery powered tools.
Okay. So you're diving in.
Yeah.
You're diving into your side of the heated debate.
Yeah. So if you don't buy all the same tool, you're going to have different charging stations for all these different tools.
Okay.
And if you have 12 different tools that have to be on chargers, who has a space to charge 12 different things?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, you're diving right into it. So, okay. So multiple different batteries and all this stuff.
Right.
And then for gas, we've got different types of gas.
You do have different types of gas, but
so like weed whackers are using like the high octane gas or whatever with the mixing of don't you have to like mix?
Well, it depends on what kind of weed whacker you have.
Sure.
So
you can also have an electric.
The chainsaw that I'm using from Ryan, that's it's a 4-stroke or 2-stroke.
2-stroke. Okay.
And it's a gas oil mixture, so 50-to-1 oil mixture.
Do you have to mix that, or do
you
okay?
Yeah, they sell a bottle of oil. And it shows you the different like 32-to-1 or whatever, and it just says use 3 lines or use 2 lines or whatever on there. But so yeah, that is one of the downsides to it is you have to have different containers to you have your main gas container, and then you got to have smaller gas containers to mix. Yeah. So
sounds like a pain.
Yeah.
Pain in the butt.
But my weed eater is electric and it works great.
Wait, I thought you said it wasn't electric, or the one you were going to get wasn't going to be electric.
My weed eater.
Weed eater.
Yeah.
Is that the same as a weed whacker?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. I don't
know. We've always called it weed eaters.
Okay. I call it weed whacker.
Really?
Yeah. Is that from the South?
It must be.
Okay.
Yeah. So my weed eater's electric. It's got a cord. But my mower is gas.
It has a cord?
Yeah.
So you have to be plugged up for that thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I love it because you don't have to charge it, and you don't have to have a mixture for it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, weed eater or a weed whacker? It's a statewide thing. So the South and the Western states prefer weed eater. Oh, I call it weed whacker. Weed eater is the most popular by another name. Weed trimmer. Weed whacker's next in line with Connecticut and District of Columbia, DC. California says it sparingly. Interesting. Weed whipper.
Weed whipper.
Weed whipper in Minnesota.
I like weed whipper better. That's pretty cool.
That's Minnesota. Yeah. Weed whipper.
Yeah, go get that weed whipper over there.
Go get the weed whipper, hey?
I mean, weed eater doesn't really make sense because it doesn't suck it up.
Yeah.
It just
weed whacker makes more sense.
Yeah.
Just whacking the weeds until they fall over.
Well, weed whipper's better. Just gonna. Yeah. I think I'm gonna put a sticker on there that says weed whipper.
Weed whipper. Yeah. You've got multiple things, right? So you have all your power tools are plugged in.
Right.
And then you got a gas mower. And then your weed whacker has weed eater. has a cord.
Right.
So I think ultimately, out of all the options, the corded option is the best, right?
It has to be.
Cord drills and cord appliances and stuff,
Right.
like those all always work better.
Right.
I think at the end of the day, batteries versus gas, it's just go cord.
I think so. Yeah.
Corded.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't cut the cord.
Don't cut the cord.
Yeah.
Well, since we agree about the bet, why don't we drink our provided beer, and we can just talk about why we like batteries versus gas.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Let's do it.
All right.
All
Beer
right.
corner.
Beer.
Oh, perfect name for a conversation.
Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
Wait, why is that a perfect name?
Well, we can make a bet on it.
Of why it's called Dust Bowl?
Yeah. Oh, no. Was there more people out of work during the Dust Bowl or during the coronavirus?
I don't know. I don't know much about the Dust Bowl.
It was just there was a drought, right? And all the people from the
Midwest, right?
Midwest?
It's in, like a middle area.
Middle,
The plains.
yeah.
The Great Plains.
Yeah, and there was something with potatoes, right? Didn't they didn't have any potatoes. All the potato farmers migrated west or something like that.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was because they were farming the same area for so long. I guess I do know a little bit about it. From my understanding, it was, you know how they rotate crops?
Right.
So they were farming the same crop in the same area over and over and over.
Okay.
And it was destroying the soil. And they just like destroyed the soil and it just became super dusty.
Okay. So it had nothing to do with the drought.
I think it was a mix of like a drought and then like this improper farming practice.
Okay.
And then now the practice is like I think they have like 6 plots and they like one is out of the cycle.
Right. I think it's every 7 years, right?
Yeah,
You have
yeah,
to let
like-
the land go dormant or
Yeah.
whatever.
I think it's something like that.
Okay.
Dust Bowl.
I feel like, isn't there like a Bible verse about that or something too?
About like rotating your crops.
Yeah. Pretty sure.
Okay. I don't know. Bible verse on rotating your crops.
That you like either have to burn it or you have to let it go dry or something like that.
79 Bible verses about planting different crops. You shall not sow your vineyard with 2 kinds of seeds, lest the whole field be forfeit. The crop that you have sown and the yield of your vineyard disappear. Yeah, there's tons of stuff. Let both grow together until harvest. That's the one where you gather the stuff after you separate them later and all that stuff. Anyways, yeah, I think there is. Oh, for 6 years you should sow your land and gather its. Well, I click on it and it disappears. And gather in its yield. Yeah, I think it's kind of like the rotating of the 7.
Yeah,
I think.
I remember reading that when I was younger.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, this beer is called the Dust Bowl.
Dust Bowl.
And actually, okay, wait a second.
Dust Bowl Brewing Company.
Dust Bowl Brewing. Was that the name of the old one? And the other one was Taco Truck by Dust Bowl Brewing.
Oh yeah, I think it took us like a while to figure that out.
Yeah.
Dust Bowl Brewing. Okay. And is that because it's in the middle of nowhere?
Because it's in Turlock.
Turlock. Well, let's talk about it.
All
Let's
right.
do it. How do we crack this? You got a cracker?
Yep.
A cracker. Dust Bowl. It's an area of land where vegetation has been lost and soil reduced to dust and eroded, especially because of the consequence of drought. Nice. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Here, cheers.
Prost.
Oh, that's interesting.
good.
That's good.
And I don't usually like IPAs.
It's sweet.
It's really good. It's called Hops with Wrath. 6.6% alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
IPA. That's all it says. But it tastes really light to me.
It does taste really light, but it tastes, there's this bit of sweetness on the front end, like right on the front. It's like, here's some sugar.
What else are you going to say about it? I know you got
Good
something.
mouthfeel.
Yes, that's what I was waiting for.
Actually, I don't like the mouthfeel. It's kind of
Slimy?
that hoppy, slimy.
It might be because I just brushed my teeth.
Oh no, I get a little slime. Maybe.
Okay.
And it's dry in the back.
Okay.
I don't like that. But I like the
it is
taste
a little
of it.
dry in the back. Yeah.
It tastes good though.
Yeah, it is.
So it's
I like it.
Hops of Wrath.
Yeah. It's got a little tornado made out of barbed wire.
Yeah.
For the logo.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
I
remember the taco truck one didn't have much on there either.
Yeah.
But hey, keep it simple, I guess.
Keep it simple.
Yep.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to do it. Hold on. I want to talk a little bit about Dust Bowl.
Okay.
So it was from unsuitable farming practices, what they call it.
Okay.
And it was in the early 1930s. And it was Oklahoma, Kansas, and northern Texas. And it was severe soil erosion. But it said caused by windstorms. But I'm pretty sure it was because of a drought and unsuitable practices.
Makes sense.
Severe drought and a failure to apply a dryland farming methods to prevent the aeolian process, which is probably the drying out. It's
is that
crazy.
Like the aioli that they give you at the restaurants?
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. The aioli, they bring it out and they're like, remember the Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
Remember. It's crazy. The drought came in 3 waves, 34, 36, and 39.
Okay.
And it happened for 8 years. Crazy, dude. It's not a good time to be happening. Yeah. Ooh, fun numbers here. 25 million losses reached $25 million per day by 36. And then
that's a lot back then.
Yes, and that was equivalent of 460 million by today's standards. That's a lot. And then
how much? For today's
460 million.
Okay.
So it said a lot of people, often referred to as Okies from like Oklahoma, they migrated to California.
Right.
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure my dad's family came over here during the Dust Bowl.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Pretty sure.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. My dad's family. So
yeah,
my dad's mom's family.
So they're from Oklahoma?
Czechoslovakia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then they were in Oklahoma.
I'm pretty sure Oklahoma. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I knew more about my family history.
Yeah. we've got a ton of old pictures. I showed you that one, right? The black and white one of somebody in my family standing next to a train.
I think so. Yeah.
But my great grandma, before she passed, she labeled everybody that was on the back of every picture. So if you have all the pictures together, you can figure out who the people are.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I had some of that. I've got a picture of my great grandfather. I think it's my great grandfather and his father.
Okay.
So great grandfather, and they were in a jazz band together.
Oh, that's cool.
This black and white photo of it.
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And one was on trombone and one was on the drums.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool.
That's awesome.
And they look just like my family,
like
my mom's side of the family.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I want to hang it somewhere.
You should.
I just don't know where to put it. We have a small place, so I don't know.
Yeah. Let's put it on the shelf right there.
Yeah. That's crazy though. Dust Bowl, when you think about surreal times, obviously we're living in like COVID times right now. So it's just kind of weird to live through something like that surreal. So there's the wars, right?
Yeah.
World War One, World War Two, the Great Depression.
Y2K.
We lived through that.
I know.
We made it.
I know.
And then you've got Vietnam, which was huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Dust Bowl period, which was kind of in between there, right? If it was late 30s. Or no, that's right at World War II, isn't it? That's leading up to World War II, which was 42, I think.
Was it 42?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just, what a terrible time. Savannah and I talk about this all the time. You know how you like romanticize like old times? Where you're like, that's the time that was like amazing. Like medieval time, right? medieval
Okay, yeah,
times.
sure.
It's like, oh, okay, you got a sword and there's chivalry and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But we watched some clips. There's a show called Castles, and like we really want to go to Europe and like tour some castles
Right,
and stuff because
yeah.
that's cool. It's romantic, right? Like romantic as in not like lovey-dovey, but
Right.
like it's romanticized as in like movies and
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And
Hallmark style
yeah,
kind of thing.
but every castle the guy went to, I stopped watching the show because it was so depressing.
Oh, really?
It was like this king hung 200,000 people outside the front of it because he went crazy.
Yeah.
This king did this and this.
Here's
and
the
I'm like,
torture chamber.
yeah, yeah. Castles are terrible.
Well, didn't somebody light bodies on fire?
Yeah, they did that too.
Yeah.
The witch period, like there's a huge witch time, and they were just like, if you're a witch, you got lit on fire. You got put on the stake, and then all sorts of torture. There was this one torture thing that they were talking about. They called it quartering. You heard of this? So it's like he's like, and your bowels will be ripped out, your head cut off, and your body cut into quarters and hung on all corners of the banister.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, oh, you already chopped their groin off and their head. Like, you don't need to chop their body in fourths.
Yeah. They just had nothing to do back then. There's no Facebook or...
Oh my gosh. So that show, I was like, I want to learn about castles. And then it was just all about like torture.
That's
And
funny.
I didn't want to watch that. There was this one where like, it was, what do they call it? It wasn't stoning, but it was like weights. So they laid on the ground with a board, and they put weights on it. They
is
just
that
crushed
when they're
you to
on
death.
spike?
Yeah, there's a not a spike, but a like this, and they laid on their back.
Like a triangle kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm talking in the podcast doing my hands. So like a triangle thing, yeah, and they laid on their back, and they had a board, and they laid weights on it until their back snapped in half.
That's awful.
Like, I don't want to hear about that.
Yeah.
I want to hear about the young prince who married...
Who saved the damsel in distress.
Yeah. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
But same, like, it's super interesting. We were both really young during 9/11.
Yeah.
But then now this time is like a new period to live through.
Right.
But anyways, like the Dust Bowl, like that would have been crazy to live through, you know? And now we're living through something crazy.
Yeah. You know, I remember the Y2K, there's everybody stocking up just like they did for the coronavirus.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a huge thing. I remember my parents had like a pantry, like an emergency kit.
Yeah.
My mom bought plastic to put over the windows. Do you remember them saying that you could cover your windows? Because I think that was around anthrax too, right?
Anthrax was after 9/11. That was
after
like
9/11.
It was like one of the things.
Okay, that's what it was. It was
about.
she bought the plastic for the windows to put over because if there was like, I don't know, it still would kill you.
Yeah.
It'd get into the house, whatever it was, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were worried about some kind of gas.
Yeah. The anthrax was a big worry. Well, they were worried about bioweapons because you know, terrorism's like that's probably like one of the worst forms of terrorism is bioweapons. Obviously, you know, 9/11 was bad, but bioweapons are just crazy.
Yeah.
Really. That's why they're outlawed, you know. But yeah, Y2K, Savannah's family, they had like barrels of wheat and like beans and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to somebody's house one time that had that, and it was like all in the freezer.
Yeah.
Like flour, like they would freeze everything, and then the dry goods, I guess you freeze it, and if there's anything in it, it'll kill it. Yeah. And then you just leave it in a dry space after that, if it's sealed. And they were like, oh yeah, you need some flour, like trying to give it to me because they had so much stockpiled. And I was like, oh, this is kind of weird.
Well, Savannah's dad found their stockpiles, and it was wheat to last longer than like flour.
Okay.
And he's like, he got a grinder for it and was making homemade bread from it.
Oh, really?
That's
like, cool.
I have a ton of this. I need to make bread.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I saw an article the other day of why people are making so much bread right now. And I didn't read it. I wish I would have read it now.
It's just because people are bored.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, people went and stocked up on anything that they could get. Now they're just like, well, I guess we could cook.
Yeah. I've got a huge bag that we got from shooting this bread company.
Oh yeah,
And we just said that we're gonna make some bread later today.
that's funny. That's cool.
Yeah, well, homemade bread's delicious.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Again, like living through the Dust Bowl, that would have been crazy. Even though we survived Y2K. So.
Right. Going back to that, you said it was a romantic time. The time that I always think of is like the Wild Wild West.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be the hardest time to live through.
Mm-hmm.
You're still having to hunt for your food.
Yeah.
If you're living in a hot place, there's no AC, there's no ice.
Mm-hmm.
It just, that seems awful. Your transportation is a horse.
When was like the pinnacle of like that Western cowboy like vibe? When, like late 1800s? Because they had revolvers, right? So
yeah, they had
when was
shotguns. That? They had, I would say, yeah, probably like 1870s or something, maybe. You want to bet on that?
Oh yeah, we should be betting on that. Pinnacle of cowboy time. So I'm trying to think when the Civil War was, because that was musket time.
Well, we came over here in 1776.
I know.
So,
but that's all Revolutionary War,
right?
And then you have, oh man, all of our history buff friends and family are gonna be like, "What are you doing?"
Just screaming at their phone right now. Yeah.
So okay, so you've got Revolutionary War. Well, you've got a few. There's a few other wars. I'm not gonna. There's several wars during this time. There's the War of 1812. There's the war. There's the wasn't there a war with the French or something during this time? There was a war with England. Right. There was a war with the Spaniards. There was a Native American conquest stuff, which is terrible.
Yeah.
But Civil War, I'm pretty sure that was like mid 1800s.
Okay. So then
are we talking about Civil? Oh no. Well,
the Wild
it sounds
West.
like we don't even know when Civil War was.
I think the Wild West is around 1870s.
Well, yeah. So I think if Civil War was muskets, some people had pistols though in the Civil War, right?
Yeah.
Some of the generals.
Yeah, because they show them on like Pawn Stars and stuff.
Okay.
They bring them in. Those things are intricate.
Yeah.
They're unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
It's all silver plated, designs on them. Usually it has the general's name on it and stuff. Pretty freaking cool.
Okay. Okay, so you're going to go 70, you said? 1870?
Yeah. Why don't we just pick a 10-year timeline and then whoever is closest gets it?
I'll go 80.
Okay.
I feel like it was a little later.
Okay.
But we still weren't like heavy industrial revolution.
Okay.
Which I feel like was late 18. Oh my gosh. We don't even know these things.
I feel like we need to start this episode with the Wild Wild West song.
Wow.
Welcome to the Wild Wild West.
Yeah. I should like go and remake it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Shoot, how does the Wild Wild West song go?
Everybody, welcome to the Wild Wild West. And then that's all I know.
Isn't it like a yeehaw?
Oh my gosh. Idea.
I think I can play like a couple seconds of it without getting a copyright.
That's Tupac, right?
No, it was Will Smith. Will Smith made the track for it. He was in the movie and he made the...
I thought it was Tupac that sang that song.
Oh my gosh. There's so many little mini bets right now. Wild Wild West with Will Smith, Drew Hill, Kool Mo D. So Jaden. Okay. I can't play too many of this because we'll probably get a copyright, but... That is not it. Is it? That's it.
Yeah, that's Will Smith right there. But I thought the song was that Tupac song.
In the movie?
Yeah, didn't they play that in the movie? You know, the California.
Oh, he says, "Welcome to the Wild Wild West."
Yeah.
Did that come out before or after the movie?
I think that was in the movie, so it should have been before the movie.
West. Okay, here's Wild Wild West. Oh gosh, I just ruined the other bet. Oh, actually, I don't think either of us win. It was between 1830 to 1920.
What?
Was the American frontier period.
Okay.
Well,
that is way earlier than I thought.
Yeah, to me, like, when was the revolver made?
I have no idea.
To me, like, imagining, like, well, you know, like, gunpowder and all this stuff, like, defined conquest in a way. Like, one of the reasons why the British were able to conquer all these places was because of guns,
right?
Basically, and their technology. Which, so like with their technology, obviously that's terrible. They were awful. They like conquered the entire world and oppressed so many people.
Yeah. Well, somebody's got to do it. It's going to happen no matter what.
Well,
Just try to go as least violent as possible.
Yeah. But a lot of things are defined by gunpowder because like cannons on ships, right? Warships. And then when we came up with the musket, that's when like these battles, the Revolutionary War and all these battles of our freedom, right? So that was like trying to obtain these weapons, right? And then sadly, that's one of the reasons why like we were able to take over this land from Native American peoples.
Right.
Terrible situations. But it's because of gunpowder. So when I think about the Wild West, I'm thinking of...
And it was because of the diseases that they brought.
Yeah, and the diseases, that was worse than the gunpowder, to be honest. And to define the Wild West period, to me, is having a portable gun and able to fire from horseback, right? So that means the revolver and the Winchester, right? So to me, like when were those made? Because that, I feel like that's what defined it, right?
I feel like it was the 20s.
The 1820s?
Yeah, like 1819 to 1823 or something like that.
Well, the first revolver was 1597.
Okay. I quit.
But I don't think they were...
Not even close.
I don't think it was like widely used. Okay, so Samuel Colt submitted a British patent for this revolver in 1835.
So that's at the point where it was starting to get popular. Then.
Yeah, like I think it was invented a while back, but then it became a thing in 1835, which is that frontier time period of us pushing forward. And so having a revolver on horseback was kind of where it was at. Yeah, that's super interesting. Man, we are so off topic right now. I guess we were talking about Dust Bowl, and then we were talking about the frontier kind of time, the Wild West.
And batteries.
Yeah, and batteries. Wait. So you were asking, when did California come out? Tupac. Yeah. California Love, right?
Yeah.
That came out. It was his first single after coming out of prison in 95.
Okay, so when did the movie... Or we could just look up and see if that song was in the movie.
Yeah, we can. But hold on. What's the movie called? Wild Wild West, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a 99 film. Oh, they definitely used that in the film.
Pretty sure.
I don't know. I'll look this up.
Yeah, this is not coming up with anything for me. Okay, so we got the Will Smith Wild Wild West song. Enrique Iglesias, MC Liddy. Not seeing any Tupac on here. Eminem, Dre, Faith Evans. Maybe it wasn't on there. I must just be making that up. Maybe it was on the previews or something.
Well,
For some reason, I feel like that song was played on that movie.
Well, it's Wild Wild West, and I'm pretty sure he says, "Welcome to the Wild Wild West."
He does, yeah.
Well, maybe that's where the name of the movie came from.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because Will Smith, he was a rapper at that time.
Yeah. He was everything at that time. He's always everything at every time.
He's like a YouTube star now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does like his own YouTube content now.
Yeah, he does it all.
He's a
man of many talents.
Man of many talents.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we talked about a lot of weird stuff.
What's the deal with his son? What's his son do? Because
his son's an actor.
Oh, is he? Is he a famous actor too?
His son was in Pursuit of Happiness.
Okay.
And another movie. There was like some sci-fi movie too.
Because I was watching Impractical Jokers not too long ago, and one of the guys had lost a bet, and he had to get a tattoo, and they didn't tell him what it was going to be of, and it was Will Smith's son. And I was just like, that is the weirdest tattoo ever.
Why?
I don't know.
That's the worst. Son Jaden Smith.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was in The Pursuit of Happiness. I think that was his kid, right?
I have no idea. I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah. 2006 film, Pursuit of Happiness. And then he's been in a bunch of other movies recently. And I think he's a DJ of some sorts.
Cool.
So career, discography. Yeah, he's got some stuff. Filmography. He did Pursuit of Happiness, The Day the Earth Stood Still, which I think that was like a sci-fi thing.
Okay.
He was in The Karate Kid.
Karate Kid?
The 2010
Oh, okay.
Karate Kid. And Practical Jokers, the movie.
Oh, he's in the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see that so bad. I couldn't go see it because of the corona.
Yeah, the corona.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's get back to the main. We got to get back to the main.
Okay.
Batteries.
Batteries.
Or gas. All right, so...
Well, I mean, I think we solved it with the corded is the best.
Cord is the best, but okay.
And then gas is second, and then battery is third.
This is a heated topic that you and I get into.
Right.
And this is why this podcast exists. Two coworkers are at their throats on what they'd like. Now, I say batteries because, okay, it's all about the method of how you treat the device, right? Like, I always had gas stuff growing up, and it sucked. Like, the lawnmower pull always would, like, freeze up on me. And then...
Well, they don't make stuff like that anymore. There's no...
Is it push start
There's
now?
no primer. Most of them are
nice.
Most of them are just like, yeah. Mine does have a pull, but there's no, like, you know how you used to have to pull the choke out,
Yeah.
press the primer, put the choke in, try to run it. If it doesn't do it, pull the choke back out. That's annoying.
I grew up with that. And
Yeah,
that's
now it's just pull start or electric start.
But it was the worst on the. It was even the worst on the weed whackers. Like, that was the worst.
Yeah, I'm sure, because you don't have really anything to hold on. I mean, a lawnmower doesn't move if you pull it. You know, a weed eater is going to go wherever you're going to go with it.
But like I just remember, like, I would spend 30 minutes trying to get this stupid piece of junk started. And that was the worst part.
Yeah.
And if I had a battery, I just click it on, go.
Now, here's the thing. I will admit battery is the way to go if you have solar because it's free.
Okay, the power, yeah.
Right? But your thing is you get done using it, put the battery on the charger, and the next time you go to use it, pull it off the charger.
You have to have that system.
You're ready to go. Isn't it bad for batteries to sit on a charger for days and days? Isn't it supposed to be, you charge it up, you go all the way down. You charge it up, you go all the way down. Isn't that the best way to use a battery?
Battery technology is weird. The older battery technology, yes.
Okay.
Newer battery technology, if it's good, if it's a quality battery and charger, what it's supposed to do is charge it up to 80%.
Okay.
And it idles at 80%. And then you can either like start it and it'll pump it all the way up. Okay. Or you pull it off and 80% is pretty much 100%.
Okay.
So it's like a curve, like a linear curve of, not linear, but parabolic.
A bell curve?
It's a parabolic or something, non-linear. Like right now, it's an exponential curve for Corona.
Okay.
Sadly. But it's the curve that it goes up a little bit, exponential up, and then levels off.
Okay.
So that top little bit, like right when you use your phone battery, it's going to go down to like 80%. But then in between 80 and 20 is your most long life.
Okay.
And then the last little bit, it could just be gone. And then your phone's like, what? I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And that's the same with like car batteries, like the Tesla batteries and stuff. They're always best at the top end.
Okay.
And then now they're actually smart phone chargers are learning when you're awake. Like when you wake up to grab your phone, it's starting to learn your rhythms. So it will charge your phone to 80% and leave it at 80% all night. And then it knows you're going to wake up in an hour or two and charges the rest of the way.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
So optimal battery technology is supposed to chill at 80% and then go all the way to the 100.
Okay.
That being said, you're correct. These crappy batteries, that's not, they die.
Right. And that's a whole reason why I don't want to invest a whole bunch of money into a lawnmower that is electric. And then 2 years from now, I got to buy a $80 battery or whatever it is,
Well, you're right in that the gas engines, it's just you put gas in them and that's what goes.
Right.
But then you have the varied gas. Sometimes you need a different gas for each one. Well, I was going to say the battery systems, right? So when you buy pieces of gear, all the batteries are different. If it's different companies, different ages when you bought it. But one of the cool things about our battery technology, especially in these newer days, is you could buy a system, like a full system of things, of tools, and they all use the same battery system.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
That's if you have, well, I guess you could buy them at different times, but like personally, I usually buy things in steps, oh, I need this, so I'll buy this now. And then a few years down the road, oh, I might need this. So I'm going to buy a chainsaw down the road or, whatever it is. And by then maybe one brand's better than the other, so.
Well, and that's the thing. You're looking for the deal. You don't want to pay more for something if you don't have to. But then you have to think about the battery tech, like if you want to just swap the same battery out on everything, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, I feel that. I have 2 drills, and I only use the wall plug one because I never charge the other one.
See?
But I never charge it because our scenario, like I live in an apartment, I can't just leave it charged, but it doesn't hold its charge.
Yeah.
So that's why you leave it on the charger. If I had a garage, I'd leave it on the charger.
That's exactly why I bought a corded drill, because my dad, my grandpa, and then my wife's grandpa, all 3 had those blue Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They come in that big blue case. Yeah. Those batteries are never charged. Even if you go and you put it on the charger for a couple hours, you go to use it, the batteries doesn't work. Yeah. It'll last maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
That old battery technology does that. It just dies. But obviously you can't have a gas hand drill. I guess unless you're running a generator with a plugged one.
Yeah. True.
So, but I guess when you're talking about a lawnmower is where this conversation started.
Yeah.
The battery lawnmowers are a new thing. We've had battery hand tools for a long time and corded hand tools, but battery lawnmowers are semi-new. Right. And I personally haven't owned one. So I was saying you should do one because I feel like that would be good. But I think ultimately, I don't know. I have heard that the gas-powered mowing equipment like that is some of the worst, like, gaseous, like, pollution.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there's no exhaust on it.
Yeah. And then those engines aren't the best for that.
Yeah.
But then the electric, I don't know. I feel like, so one of the things we were talking about, I was like, you've got the big battery for it, and you just take the battery off, put it on the thing, and you got to create a rhythm, because you were worried about it dying halfway through or forgetting to charge it, and you have to charge it.
Right.
But I was like, you just got to create a rhythm. But then you were saying that you could just have a rhythm with going to get your gas.
Right. Yeah.
And if you run out of gas or run out of battery, the battery would take hours to charge.
Exactly.
Where going to the gas station.
And we have 3 vehicles, so I'm going to the gas station a few times a week usually. And I always put 5 gallons in at a time, because that's what you need to get a free soda. Yeah. And so, I could probably go to the gas station every day. So likelihood of me, running out of gas is like, oh, I need to go to the gas station either way. So. Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it. But then there's also, we didn't talk about human powered.
Oh gosh. My lawn is so tore up from gophers.
Yeah.
It's like a small mountain in my backyard.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to push one of those?
Oh, they're terrible.
Yeah, they're hard to
absolutely
push.
Awful. Yeah. I bought one time for my grandma because she had a small thing of grass in the back of her house. And I went to push it, and I was just like, nope. Went and donated it. I was just like, I bought it used from somebody, but I was just like, this is impossible. Weed eater is or weed
whacker,
weed slinger,
weed. What was it? We've already forgotten.
Weed whipper.
Weed whack.
Whipper.
Weed whipper. How have we already forgotten this?
It's weed whipper.
Weed whipper.
Anyway, the weed whipper is a lot easier to use than the push. Anytime.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, that's what I was saying you should get for yours is a weed whacker. Just don't even get a mower.
No, well, I wanted the mower because I'm lazy and I don't want to rake all that grass up after.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I just remember as a kid just pushing that freaking thing and trying to start it.
Start it?
back in the day when I had to pull start my lawnmower.
Oh,
just
you had
pushing
okay. I
that
thought you were
thing.
talking about a push mower.
No, I've only seen one of those once in real life.
Oh, you haven't used one?
No.
Yeah.
My buddy used one and he said he loved it, but I'm like, geez,
No, they're
that's
awful.
so much work.
They're awful.
You got to be like ripped to use those.
Well, the thing is they're like on a it's a rotation, so you spin it, but it spins kind of like a bicycle tire where it just keeps going.
Yeah.
So it's not like you gotta like really be pushing hard or anything. You know, it spins kind of freely. But those blades got to be really sharp because if not, they'll just hit the grass and kind of move the grass instead of cutting it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Gotta have sharp blades.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lesson of the day. Yeah. Well, I think we solved this one.
Yeah.
We solved the issue. So, okay. Back to the original story, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he. What did he say? Or no, was it the woman that got the who got the grinder? You got the grinder.
He got a Sawzall.
He got the Sawzall.
And then we ended up. I got the jack out of the car and we bent it until it broke. Basically broke.
But I haven't seen battery Sawzalls.
I hadn't either. No, I take that back. Sean has one that I used for a while.
Yeah.
And again, it ran out of juice like the first time I was using it. I was so pissed off because I was like, oh, I just want to finish this project.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't get I have the cord Sawzall. I just didn't get mine out because I didn't want to really cut that thing. But the guy was pretty adamant that we cut it. So it's just like, all right.
Yeah. Well, and that's like an emergency scenario where it needs to be ready to go. They should have on battery ones like an adapter where you can just go plug into the wall.
That is a great idea. That is a great idea.
I'm all about $1 million ideas.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That actually is a fantastic idea. Yeah. I would probably buy a battery one if it had the option of plugging a
I think that's cool.
Cord onto it.
Or even like a dummy battery.
No, just plugging a cord onto it.
Well,
that's what I would want.
Yeah.
And actually that would probably be the way that I would charge it, is if it was just you leave it on the cord.
So you like the built-in battery, is what you're saying. They might as well build it in.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah.
I've got have I shown you that gyroscopic drill I use?
No.
That's cool. I need to show it to you in a second. But so it has a gyro in it and it has a built-in battery, but it's small.
Okay.
And you just tilt it and that goes right. You tilt it left and it will go left.
Oh.
There's no switch to do
That's
that.
cool.
But it also, because you can tilt it, you can control the speed too.
Okay.
So a fast tilt, it'll spin fast.
Okay.
If you tilt slight, it will do like basically hand level tightening like you would with just a normal hand screwdriver.
Okay.
It's really cool. I use it on tight to get in places, but also things that I want to use a hand tool that I don't want to strip something with.
Okay.
And it will do it like as if I was using my hand.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. I need to show it to you.
It's kind of like a Wii remote then.
It has the gyro in it, so it knows if you're tilting it left or right.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's probably my favorite drill. I use it for everything.
So I've got this thing. It's pretty old. I got it at a thrift shop. I'm trying to find a picture of it to show you. But what it is it's a ratcheting screwdriver. So you release it.
Yeah.
And it pulls out really far. And then
is that the one where you just push in?
Yeah, you just push in and it screws it in.
Yeah.
And I've used that thing so many times.
Yeah.
Just for like weird spaces, like even things that are like kind of far, you know, like if it's like in the corner or whatever, and you just like stretch it out, and I just got to get it screwed in just a little bit.
I feel like that's off of like a Looney Tunes episode or
something.
It's
like so awesome.
That's really cool.
When we got married, I made a big cross for our background.
Yeah.
And there was no electricity plug-in or anywhere to like, because I built it in pieces. And so when I brought it over there, I was like, I'll just take this ratcheting screwdriver. And dude, I got that thing put together in like 5 minutes. It was like,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's very convenient.
Like, how does the mechanism work?
It's really weird looking. It's got like all these, so the basically the inside, you release it and it pops out, and it is probably about 2 feet long. And then
a spring?
There's a spring on the inside of it.
Okay.
And then basically there's a scope that pops out. The scope has all these etched in like diamonds, and there's one way that's reverse and one way that's forward. And so basically you just put your screw down, you put the screwdriver on there, and then you push down, and it'll just spin.
Whoa.
It's really cool.
That's awesome.
I'll take a picture of it, and then maybe you could post it in the comments.
For sure.
Because I'm not finding it online.
Okay. Video at home. Maybe if I'm editing this. Yeah. We're recording video for this right now.
Hey guys.
I wanted to live stream it. I didn't live stream it. I don't even know if the sound's going to sound good on there. Well, I guess I could use this sound.
Yeah.
But hello. So we're going to post this video, if it works out well, onto the Patreon.
Perfect.
So if you want to see us talking about this podcast and maybe some of the other ones we did today.
Hey, we might as well show the beer. That's the label.
I could probably put up pictures and stuff for it.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, we're going to put this on the Patreon if you want to watch us do the podcast. There it is.
Sweet.
And I'm going to try to do that more and more to get a lot better Patreon content up there.
Perfect.
So maybe somebody will buy us a beer one day.
All right.
Yeah. Well, that's about it for this topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun episode.
We learned a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went everywhere with this.
And your story really touched me.
Good.
It was good. Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it. Yeah.
Well, that was a good episode. What are we talking about next week, Zach?
On next week's episode, we are talking about what came first, the reggae or
the reggae?
The reggae. What came first, reggae or ska?
That's so. We had this crazy debate at work the other day, and we just were like, "This has to be a podcast."
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm feeling like reggae is really old,
Mm-hmm.
and like Jamaican roots.
Yeah.
I think it's the oldest one.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with ska.
Okay. Why do you say ska?
Because it's the other answer. I don't know. I feel like reggae really got going with Bob Marley.
Okay.
And I don't think he's that old because his son isn't that old. So I don't think it's been that popular for that long.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's gonna be next week's episode.
Cool.
Stay tuned.
See ya.
All right. The Better Not podcast is produced by Cobblestone Productions and is hosted by Will Cobb and Zach Freeman. All the music that you hear in the show is produced by Will Cobb and edited by Chad Mcilvenna. Thanks to Savannah, my wife, for singing on all the tracks and putting up with me making this podcast all the time. We just want to encourage you guys to go to the Patreon and subscribe for $5 a month. That buys us a beer a month, keeps the lights on, and it's pretty great. You should do it. We also are posting a couple videos up there of the last couple podcasts. So there is going to be more and more content up there. I'm trying to put more energy and time into it. So hopefully it will entice you guys to want to be a part of it. Hope to see you there. All right. Bye. Bye.